Well, good morning to all of you. Today we are privileged to have Professor Rama Verma from IIT Madras to give us a talk on clean water. As you know, clean water is a very important thing in our daily lives, and it affects our health unless we are very careful with it. And the knowledge of that will be very useful, and it's very nice of Professor Verma, who has a lot of experience to give us this talk. One extra bit, we will have a question and answer session. Please put your questions in the chat mode. It will be presented to Professor Verma at the end, and he will answer every one of them. The talk will be for about 45-50 minutes or a little bit here and there. I leave it to Professor Verma for that. Professor Verma, can you please start?
Yeah. Good morning, all of you. I hope you enjoying this talk, and thank you, Nasi and Professor Mani, for organizing this wonderful talk in such a way that I'm going to interact for the second time in my life to the students in a mass. First, I attended gave a talk to in Madurai, a college student, Yadava College, and I was very pleased that all the participants of the school participated in that one. And it was a wonderful talk for 1 hour and then 3.5 hours only question answers. So I'm really looking forward to that only. So let's go to the presentation first. I'll share my slide to you guys. You can have a look. Can you see the slide?
Yeah, we can see your screen, sir.
You can see my slide?
No, we can't see your slide. We can only see your screen. Can you open your slide?
Just a minute, what happened? You are sharing the slides, okay.
Yeah, we can see it, sir.
Now you can see?
Yes, sir, we can. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so this is basically a first slide, clean water. As you see here, there is from the very ancient days, in our Indian Vedic system and mythology, the 5 things are constituent for the life. Is a Prithvi, Jal means water, Agni means the heat, and Vayu, air, and also Atma. And these all 5 things makes the living organism. So it is very important that we should understand what is the role of Jal, it means water, in our life. So what is the Jal means? And you know that 2/3 of our earth is covered by the water. And 1/3 is basically Prithvi, which is called as land. So it means the water is very important for sustaining the life in human as well as the plants and other creatures which are present in the earth. Now, what is the type of the water? What are the different ways of the water is stored? What are the different properties of water? I'll explain to you in the presenting slide, coming slides basically. So what is water? If you do the chemically, water is made of the tiny molecules of hydrogen and oxygen. So if you see the structure is known as the H2O. So the 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. They are attached to each other with a bond and makes a kind of a molecule which is basically important for life. Okay, so it's a chemical structure. Now this water is very, very important. As I am a biotechnologist, I can tell you in the later on that how it helps to govern every system in our body and life, means plants, maybe the animals, and maybe the small creature, even the smaller bacteria, even the viruses also. So now what is the water? Each molecule of oxygen and hydrogen is so small, you can't see with the powerful microscope also. So it means they are very tiny. And pure water has no color, no taste, does not smell of anything. So this is the quality of the water. Means it has no color. Whatever color you see in the water is basically maybe the reflection or maybe presence of some of the molecules which are basically transmit the light and we see the color. When you taste on the tongue, it doesn't make any taste. So it is basically neutral. And should not have any smell. Means it should be smell free. Smell comes with the dirty molecules which are present in the environment. Now, if this water is so important, then definitely we need to understand where it is stored, where it's used, and how it is used. What are the forms of the waters? If the forms are available in the atmosphere or in the planet, and how we can really be careful about the water, because there are 5 things I told you: Prithvi, Atma, Agni, Vayu, and Jal. These are the 5 constituents of the life. That's what we know. So water is very essential. So water exists in 3 forms in earth. Is a solid. Everybody knows ice. Ice is basically condensed water, which is a sub-zero temperature. Is the molecule comes together and make the hard stuff. Hail. If you have experienced the hail in the monsoon season, sometimes a small chunk of the water, the ice comes from the sky. Snow and the frost. Frost you can see in the basically winter season, when there is a temperature of the earth is little bit down, and then it becomes a cave frosting. I'll show you the picture also. Liquid. So the form the liquid because the molecules which are present in the liquid are a little bit apart. They are not as dense as in solid. So it become a liquid. In a lake, ocean, rain, dew, fog, and mist. These are the basically liquid forms of the water where it is stays. And what is the gas? Invisible water in the air. That is basically a water form. So you can see the water sustained in earth as well the atmosphere in a different forms. And that's very important to see that. Now you can see this is the droplet. You can see in the corner there is a mist on the right side bottom. The small droplets accumulate on the leaves of the grasses, and you can see how the water droplets looks like in different surfaces also. So since it doesn't have any kind of its own structure, wherever it goes, depend upon the surface, it makes the structure. Sometimes it become very droplets, sometimes become very different kind of shapes. You can see in the glass surface also, and you can, when you drop out, how the pictures looks like. So basically, water does not have their own shape. Wherever you do it, they do it. I mean, they take the shape of that particular. If you put on the glass, in a jug, it become a jug shape. If you put in a kind of a different pots, it take the shape of that particular pots also. So it does not say it fills up those things. So where is the water is stored, or the water, or you can ask them what is the source of water. Stored means it kept for a longer period of time. Storage. In a house, you can store in big vessels. You can stay for 2 days, 3 days. Water don't get spoiled if it is kept in a clean conditions. Okay. So the clean condition is very important because it makes the water clean all the time. Now everybody drinks nowadays a bottled water. And you know what is the shelf life of the water in those bottles is only 6 months, mostly. If the quality of the plastic is good, it can be 6 months. If the plastic of the water is not good, it cannot be 6 months. And also type of the plastic where you store it. So basically, vessels are very important where you store the water to make its cleanness in the water. So where water is stored in atmosphere, in this one. So you can see sheet of thousands of kilometers in an Arctic season, where it is stored as basically in ice, thick ice in those things. The second picture you can see glaciers. And as you know, nowadays we are very much worried about the global warming, because what happened? Sub-zero temperature, the water stays clean, neat, and frozen. But once the temperature increases, the ice melts and it becomes a kind of lake. You can see in 1941, the same glacier has become a lake in the bottom figure. So you can see that how temperature plays an important role in storage of the water. When it has become liquid, it can flow, it can go down. Okay, where it is frozen, it stays as it is. It doesn't goes into the earth crust also. But when in the water seeps into the earth crust and it go down into the deep well. So this is a storage from the water. Basically, a maximum amount is stored clean drinking water in glaciers and lakes because they are untouched, they are unpolluted in those areas because nobody can go. It's so cold that very few people can go inside in this. And these are the lakes basically. You can see the beautiful lakes. And nowadays you must be listening about in Ladakh, the China is fighting for the Pangong Lake. And Pangong Lake is a 1,400 kilometer big lake is there. So see the amount of the water is stored, the pure water in those lakes. In the winter, it freezes all. And in summer, because the temperature rise, it becomes watery in those lakes. So beautiful picture of these lakes, basically you can see. And lakes are the main source of the clean water and earth, basically. But they stores without any pollution in this one. And you can see these lakes are there. Thousands, they have been there. Now, what is the source of water there in lakes? Basically, it's the raining water or from the glaciers in higher altitude. These are the two sources. The rain comes from, I'll tell you the rain cycle also in the later on, and how the cycle works and how it comes here. So nowadays is there that once we have a stored water and we need to drink our villages and our area where we work. Now, if you take the water from the lakes or the stored areas, they may not be as clean, okay? They may be, because they're open, so there may be some bacteria, viruses are going into that. But as I told you, in the lakes which are higher altitude, the contamination is very less because there is nothing can grow there much. But not the bacteria, not the virus, if they are there, they will just in dormant stage. So what happens when the temperature goes down, the ice becomes liquid, the water seeps into the earth crust. And the same thing happens in the rainwater, in the city or in the villages or in the earth. When the rain comes, it is stored and it flows from higher altitude to the lower altitude and goes to the sea basically. First it will go to the lakes go into the rivers, and river goes to into the sea basically. But during that time, the water which drops there, it goes and seeps into the earth crust. Slowly and slowly goes there in that one. So it means if we dig any well, if we want to consume any if we want to draw any water, we have to dig little bit of hole in the earth. And after certain area, certain depth, you will find the water is coming out. Because the water is stored, the thick crust, water seeps into those small molecules. And this is a very important thing happens because a lot of the water purification happens during the seepage. Lot of contamination does not flow because the water is a very small molecule. It can flow into very, very small, capillary kind of things. Capillary means very small, a thick canal kind of things. But other raw material, dirty molecules, they cannot flow into that, which are soluble in water, or we are less than in water, they can flow along with the water. Other things cannot. So during the seepage or during the water when it goes to the earth crust, the purification happens automatically. This is the natural phenomenon. Now, if the water is there, then we have to dig the well and then we can find out the water in that. And you can see these examples where you can see the water is in the well. And when you take out the water level also sometimes decrease, and after then the seepage start. So it continuous makes the flow of water in those things. And most of the time, if nearby area is not contaminated, there is no pollution, the water is very clean. And the area of the water or the depth of the water can also decrease or increase depending upon the rain. So if there is more rain, the water level goes up. If no rain is there, the water level goes down. So these are the areas, and this is the very innovative and very ancient way of taking the water for domestic purpose. Domestic purpose means for cleaning, for drinking, for cattle feeding, for irrigation also. All can be done by digging these things. although irrigation can be done with the ponds also, which are stored in large open areas, but these are the another source of the water when the ponds are dry in that season. Now you can see how to draw the water. Nowadays, you can dig a well, you can put electric motors which can draw and you can flow the water very fast. And you can see in the top well, there is a tube wells in there. Tube wells mean that you are drying the water in the tube form so that the concentrated water or the flow of water is very high in that one. And that's how you can see flow of water. And you can see the water is very crystal clear. And you can see in the bottom also, the children are drinking water directly from the well. They don't require any aquaguard and RO water kind of drinking. So if the nearby area is very neat and clean, when I was growing up in a village, and a lot of you people also come from the small area, you can drink directly from the well, directly from these hand pumps also. I used to drink a lot from this. And the water is very neat and also very sweet sometimes. I mean, it doesn't have any taste, but it fetches you very nicely. So the clean water, drying the clean water from the earth is basically art, how you do that. So most of the time, if the water level is fine, if there is no pollution, no industry, no in the nearby, you can get clean water at every time 12 hours per year. Per year you can get it. But the quantity of the water may decrease in the summer because the water level decreases in the earth crust. In this. Now, what are the problem with available water? You know, how to draw. So the places where the water is there, depth. See, if you have a hilly area, maybe you have to dig a lot because there is a thick marbles are there, thick crust of the earth is there. Terrain means that the water is going through a different pathways. Hills, where the water is drained down from the top to bottom and there is nothing is left in there. The people who are living in a hill, they have to find out how to store water. Otherwise, they have to go down and they have to then again transport the water from down to the upward in the hills. So those people are living in a hilly area, they have a problem these things. Plains are very good because there is you can dig a well and you can get it. Now there are various reasons are there. If the rivers are nearby, now this is just like Ganges plains, Kaveri plains, Narmada plains are there. So if the rivers are nearby, there is a plenty of water in the river and the river fetches in all around their side basically. And the lots of water is available in those areas. Although they may be river maybe 20 kilometers away from that, but the water from inside seeps into the whole earth crust. So, and you can dig the well and you can find the water. Desert, because there is no rain in that one. That's why desert has been formed because in those areas the rains were very scary. So they become a sandy areas and very difficult to find water because all water is evaporating. Temperature is very high those areas. Marshland is another place. Marshland means marshy land. There is all the water is there and the mud is there and a lot of weeds are there in those ones. So the continuous supply of the water, but the water, the grasses are growing into that and the earth is very muddy in that one. So it becomes a marshland. There is plenty of marshland. They are a good rich source because they consume a lot of water not to evaporate during the summer. That is also good. Marshland is also very good in conserving the water. And of course, sea is there. But the sea water we cannot drink it. It's very contaminated and very salty in that one. Now, what are the source of salt in those one? You should find out that why sea water cannot be drank. Although it is a huge source of water. And there are nowadays the technology has been developed where the sea water can be converted to the technology into the drinking water. Also in Chennai area, if you go from here to Old Mahabalipuram, you'll find a plant where they can convert, they can clean the water from the sea and supply to the city also. Okay. Now, what is the source of contaminations? Because I was talking about you and telling you that if there is no contaminating source, maybe the industry, maybe the domestic waste, maybe some other areas, but daily practice, if you don't do it, the water quality is very good and you can dig a small well and you can still drink the water in that. And so there is an industrial waste are there. I can see with the picture of industrial waste. You can see that in the right corner, how much waste is generated through industry and thrown into either the lake, either in the rivers. And the rivers are very dirty. You can see on the right side, two panels are there. One is from the Ganges in Banaras, and one is another place, basically. You can find how many people are throwing garbage into the river. And this is a very bad habit, because in ecosystem, these things may not be degraded, although there are plenty of water is there. There are a lot of bacteria, lot of things are there which can degrade the normal natural things. But we are sending the plastic, we are sending a contaminated source here. If you see in the left side, in the pipes, a lot of waste material comes. Now, these waste material contains a lot of hazardous material. Maybe they're cadmium, they may iron, maybe another source. And the contaminated source is so high that even you dilute them, they affect us when you drink that particular water. And when they go into the lakes or the rivers become contaminated. The cleaning atmosphere of the bacteria, they die. The fishes and the other part which helps in cleaning the river is also die because of the contamination. So what happens if the contamination rises, that it stays for a long period of time, and it is not drinkable at all. You cannot drink, you cannot irrigate, and so the life effects in this situation. So we have to think about in that way. See how the thick industrial waste on the right upper panel, you can see them, that so much dirt has been thrown into the rivers, and you can see the color changes because there are a lot of iron in that one. In the tanneries and the industrial waste, you can see in your left bottom, the industry is situated near the river, and all the outflow goes into the river directly. And it affects not only there, but long life. If you go 10 kilometers away downstream also, the same material stays there in that one. And here is basically on the right side bottom, you can see this is basically sewage coming from the cities and directly dumping into the river in that one. So these are the source of contaminants in that one. The best thing is that once you have this waste material and source of these things, you have to little bit clean them, and you can throw them little bit of contaminated water into the river, so that whatever available cleaning mechanism are present naturally, they can take care of it. So a lot of environmental studies are going on these days where you can decontaminate the contaminated source, and then you can throw the water into the river or into the lake. And it will help us, because as our earth, our lakes are clean, wells are clean, rivers are clean, and the whole ecosystem will be very good. And it is there. City in water, basically, you can see. Now this is the city of the, basically Vienna, not Vienna. This is the city name. This whole city is situated, Venice. The whole city is situated on the canals, in that. Lot of people travel just like a road filled with the water. If the water quality goes bad here, the people who are living, suffering there, they will contaminate. They will have a different kind of health hazards. So now the city of the Venice has make sure that all the sewage, all the dump, all thing is taken care of. You can see this is so clean. You can't see even a single source of contamination in there. And not a single paper, not a single bottles, not a single thing. And this is the example I'm going to tell you, that how we can make, although we have a problem, but still we can clean them and make sure that our things are very clean. I don't think we can see Gangas like this in at least next 50 years, because our habit is so different. We burn our caracas, we burn our bodies in the front of Ganga. We go and throw the mala, throw the stuff, plastic bottles, everything we throw in this one and this one. What is going on here? Now this is all water. Okay. Now this water is very good, but we have a different kind of atmosphere, seasons. We have a monsoon, we have a summer, we have a winter, and the temperature goes high. What is a cycle? Water cycle. Water cycle means that how the water recycle in the whole atmosphere and earth. What is the close relation between them? So when there is the temperature rises, ocean water basically evaporates. When it evaporates and goes to the air along with the saturated water goes into the certain distance, because if you go, those who have traveled by the plane, the pilot said there is a minus 40-degree temperature outside. Okay, so the plane travel over a very cold atmosphere. Okay, and then the water goes and condense there. So the water evaporate, condense in the sun, and then form a cloud. And then after cloud, when they are very heavy and the water condense so much, they cannot sustain the weight, they come down and then the rain starts basically. The rain starts is fill up the snow in the higher altitude because the temperature is less, goes to the lakes because the temperature is little bit lower than, and the whatever it is, it goes into the sea again. So see, the water, the ocean is the basically source of water, 99%. And then evaporate, goes to the lake, fill up those, whatever is dry during the summer season. It fills up during the monsoon and come back. And this is a natural cycle which has to be maintained. So ocean contribute 80% of the water vapors in the air. Rest of the lakes and other things basically. You can see 80%, more than 80% comes from the water. So here is another pictorial things of those things, that what is the hydrologic cycle of the water? We can say that evaporate from the lake, solid, ocean goes to evaporate, condense, and then precipitate. And this continues, and it takes approximately a year time. It doesn't happen in a 1 day or 2 day, because the monsoon season, lot of water comes, so it has to go into the atmosphere for a long period of time, 4 or 5 months. When it goes there, and then with the wind, when there is small, the air, when the summer is there, air become very light. So it goes up, and it's really what is create a vacuum in the system, atmosphere. So the other air from there comes and then become a cyclone, become an air movement is there. So these are the things which happen. I'm telling you in a very small and very simple way, that how the storms are formed, the clouds are moved from one place to another place, and this pattern continues. And you can see for the last century, billions of years, basically, whatever the atmosphere is following the same pattern. It has not changed. Slight changes there because of the global warming. Otherwise, they follow the monsoon comes in June end, July, September lives there, and then goes up. Winter comes in December, January, February, and then spring, and then again the summer comes. So these cycles continues in a long period of time in this one. And the same thing is that what is the water cycle? What is the water cycle in different ways? You can make it. And then what happened in this cycle? The water has that, because they are very small molecules. They go in different places and interact with the earth and with the planet. With the plankton, which are present in some earth crust and earth lakes, and they interact. They give life to the wave. If you see the rainy season, after the summer rain comes, everybody enjoy it. And even not only we, even the plants, even the small animals, even the small herbs and trees, shrubs, they grow, because water is very essential for the life. And without that particular water, they cannot grow. I mean, we cannot think about in our body, how much percentage of water is there? 60% is contained in water only. Rest is not there. So see the importance of the water, and that has to be clean water. This cannot be clean, dirty water. Because if you take a dirty water, our system will have a problem in this situation. So here is again the same thing. I'm giving you so many ways. Now, what is the water we can see that? What kind of water is best for our health? Now, if you taste the water of different places, you'll find a slight change in the taste, in the odor, and also the quality of the water, how it looks like basically. So, where is the water available in what kind of water? water, alkaline water, acidic water, distilled water, reverse osmosis. These are the tap water, hard water, softened water, oxygenated water, mineral water, spring water. So everywhere the water is there. So many kinds of water, 10 kinds of water is there. Okay. So what is the best? Because the water, I told you in the beginning, water don't have any taste, don't have any molecules. Is the pure water, does not contain acid or alkaline. But our blood contain approximately little bit of 6.5 to 7.5, something like that. So alkaline water best because minerals are important. If you take a pure water, even the molecule cannot travel from here. If you put electricity on those things, plain water, the molecule cannot move in that one. You have to add little bit of ions in that one. So the ion is very important because they helps in basically traveling the minerals from one place to another place also. So the pH balance is very important. Right pH is very important for the health. And you can see, if you see in a water, the blood contain basically more than 60% of water. In those one, that's why the floating system is there. Our liver is contained more than 70% of the water. If you squeeze the liver, you'll find all water along with the blood is coming out in that one. The whole infrastructure, the whole architect of the tissue is like that. The hardness and everything with the molecules as well as the water. The water is filled in the pockets basically in this one. In the saliva, water is there, blood is there. Anything comes out, the part of the liver is there. So you can see that how this thing. Now you are drinking water these days with the RO. Okay, reverse osmosis system. A reverse osmosis system that we are cleaning the ions which are bad or more, we can clean them. The best water is distilled water is not good for health. I can tell you honestly. You require minerals also because minerals play important role in catalyzing the different reaction in our body, our system. Because we take the food, we digest them. During this process, a lot of minerals are required to do that. So if the water which are present in the lakes, pure lakes, they contain a natural minerals and which helps in the keep the body. So in my view, that we have to take a balanced amount of the minerals in our drinking water. We can't have more, we can't have less also in that one. And that's why the tap water, which is supplied these days, hard water contains basically a kind of salts more. So when the salts are more, the water become hard because it's not very easy to digest particular thing because it's contained a lot of minerals in that one. Softened water means that you soft the water, means you remove all those ions from there in that one. Oxygenated water, you add more oxygen into that one. You bubble the oxygen so that it is saturated in that one. Now sometimes you require those kind of. Mineral water is basically a lot of minerals you have to add in that one. Mineral water is good for those people who have exhausted, just like in diarrhea. Okay, if diarrhea people can take a mineral water, it helps them to cure very nicely. Spring water is very good because it's natural. It contains from the springs. So if you can drink directly from the spring water, it is the best water in my view. Okay. So water is the prime element responsible for the life on Earth. 90% water in the Earth is the salt water. Only 2.5% Earth exists in the fresh water. So basically, you can see the 2.5, 90% is basically salt water. So about 3% is the fresh water. So we really have to conserve that fresh water and we have to develop the technology how this salt water can be converted into the good water for drinkable water. So, and also you see, I showed you in the first slide, 70% of the fresh water is stored in the glaciers and the ice sheets. That's the pure water basically. So if our glaciers are melted, ice sheets are melted, it will go into the sea and become a salty water. So we have to preserve the glacier also. That's why the people that are global warming should not, you have to stop those things, okay? And 30% water is stored in the groundwater. So if you draw a lot of water from the groundwater becomes empty, and that's what happened in Punjab. When there is a green revolution happened, a lot of wells, tube wells has been made, and a lot of water will be for irrigation purpose they have taken out. Now there is no water in those. So you have to dig more and more deeper to find the water, and which is very bad in this situation. Okay. So, and this also total fresh water exists. The river, lakes, stream, ponds, and springs are natural source of water. And the water pollution is caused by increasing industrialization and human activities. I showed you some slide that you can see the industry. If you have too much industrialization, that you have to develop how to decontaminate the effluent. Effluent means the material which is coming out from the industry, that is a effluent. So that contains a lot of minerals, a lot of other active ions, a lot of other components which are not good for the consumption. And then if you throw into the lakes or river, we cannot drink that water. And along with the water, that can also go to the ground. The groundwater is also very contaminated in that. So mostly water bodies polluted by the industrial ministry. Now this is the rainfall pattern in India. You can see that only the red and the yellow one, where in the coastal areas, they get a very heavy rainfall from Kerala to here, and also in the northeast. North is very good because what happens, this is surrounded by the hills, and so what happens when the cloud crust goes and move along with the air, they cannot cross the Himalayan range. So what happens when they go there, they precipitate a lot and a lot of water comes there. Okay. Now you can see that this is the Gangetic place, the green one basically. But a lot of water is there, grows there, because of the hill effect here in this one. But here is in this area where is the Rajasthan and part of the Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh and some part of the Uttar Pradesh also, they don't get that much of water because these are plain areas. Whereas the plain areas, the water scarcity is always there basically in this one. And then the amount of the water we fill during the rainy season also, we need to collect that water. We need to harvest that water. We need to make sure that how we can do that. So the Indian subcontinent is very, very different in this. So what happened, to conserve this water, we need to conserve the water by making the dams. Dams is the basically artificial way of storing the water in a large quantity. And whenever we require, we can flow these things in a river and the people can use it for that. So during that process, that lot of dams have been constructed because the population is increasing. And then also one advantage is that by doing things, we can make electricity also with those with these dams also. So storage is adequate water for irrigation, hydropower generation, water for drinking and industrial use, food control is there. And inland navigation means that you can move from one place to the, because water bodies are so large that crossing one place of the run of the product means wherever it falls, either you collect there in big ponds, lakes, or when they go into the downstream also, you make them. You somehow you stop them for flowing into the sea. Okay, so it also take measure to keep that water clean, but not allowing polluting activity take place in catchment area. So when the water flows, basically it carries a lot of dirt and everything in the beginning, but if you store them, it settle down. So water become more cleaner. You can clean them. You can do a little bit of manipulation in that one, and then you can store that water. It's a very precise water. So watershed management emphasizes scientific conservation of soil and water. How much water you can store in one area? What is the effect of the soil? These are the activities which are going on. And watershed management increase the production and income of the watershed community, mitigates the droughts and flood. See, somewhere the droughts is there. If suppose one year the rain is too much, you are stealing enough water. So you can make that drinking water, irrigation water available for the next year if there is no monsoon. So making this conservation of the water is very important for sustainability. How you can sustain the life. So in one way, you are putting in these dams and lakes, filling the filling the ponds. If you remember in ancient time when I was growing up, a lot of ponds were there in a village. So when the rain comes, they all fill. But in the summer comes, they all empty. Again, the rain comes, they fill. So we can draw the water from the well and we can use for a particular time. Nowadays, those ponds are gone because the people are making buildings on those areas. They fill up with the earth crust. And then what happened? Now we are struggling for the water, good water source. Now we are thinking there is no drinking water available. So these are the man-made problems created not to store the water. So the water harvesting, now we say in big building harvesting system. Previously there was a natural harvesting system was there. The ponds, the lakes, the marshland. Now we are destroying those things. So think about in those line also that how we can make the same thing what happened. So in these are the ancient time what we have in age-old water harvesting system was there. The khadins, tanks, nadis basically Maharashtra bandas and tals. Tals means ponds basically. Bandit means UP. Bandit means small area where you can make a small dam. We call it bandhi basically. Okay. Ahar and spans in Bihar. Bihar basically they put a kind of a areas where all the water can be stored. And Himachal Pradesh, you know, the kulas, because whatever happen in higher altitude, they try to cultivate, store the water in that areas basically. Otherwise, of course, you know, the tanks, ponds, you know, in the South India, if you see that every temple has a pond nearby. Why we have a pond there? The ponds are basically is important stuff for water harvesting. They have to have been there, you know. Otherwise, you know, every village has one temple and having a ponds in that. So advantage of storage water basically is it stores grounds. It's not evaporate, but it's spread out to the recharge wells. It provides a moisture and vegetable in the wide area. It does not provide breeding grounds for mosquitoes if it is clean, like stagnant water collected in ponds and artificial lakes. So it is very important thing that we need to have a water harvesting system and storing the water in such a way that it can sustain at least the need for the local areas. The groundwater is relatively protected from the contamination for human use. So groundwater, as I told you, it crosses to a different crust of the earth, and when it goes through that all the bad elements or protected elements are not seeped through. Only the water molecule which is found is seeped through and make a good drinking water available for the use. Now in the end, I'll share two videos, and you can think and see what is the importance of water. And these are basically water system, purification system developed in IIT Madras and Dr. Pradeep's laboratory. I have borrowed from them. Those two, one is from CNN, one from the local Indian. So you can listen them.
It's essential for humans to survive, and yet a tenth of the world's population doesn't have access to clean water. Instead, water sources are contaminated with harmful bacteria, viruses, and toxins, like lead and arsenic, claiming millions of lives every year. Dr. Pradeep, a chemistry professor at the Indian Institute of Technology, and his team of bioengineers may have found a solution. A $16 nanoparticle filtration system that the team says can both remove chemical contaminants and kill microbes. Dr. Pradeep's filter uses silver nanoparticles that have antimicrobial properties. They're housed in a specially crafted filter made of aluminum and chitosan, which comes from the shell of crustaceans. As water flows through the filter, the nanoparticles become oxidized and then release silver ions into the water, killing contaminants. And the production of the filters requires no electricity. Dr. Pradeep and the team say one filter could provide a family of 5 with clean water for an entire year. Some members of the scientific community have expressed concern over the efficacy of the technology in places like Africa and India, where keeping the filter clean could prove to be a challenge. But Dr. Pradeep is pushing forward with the technology, using larger filters in communities throughout India, and he hopes to reach 300,000 people by the end of the year. When it comes to clean water solutions, instead of thinking big, it's time to think nanotech.
heritage city in North India, the hometown of the Golden Temple, Amritsar, where water is in abundance. However, the groundwater in certain areas in this fertile land is contaminated with the deadly arsenic. In a World Bank assisted project, the Department of Water Supply and Sanitation, Government of Punjab, has embarked on a scheme of setting up nanotechnology-based water treatment plants in these areas, with technology originating from Professor Pradeep's lab, IIT Madras. A program to install these nanotechnology-based water treatment plants was taken up at 3 locations in Amritsar district.
गांव में इसका पानी जाता है, का मेंटेनेंस हम ही करते हैं। ये महीना में 4 बार बैक वॉश किया जाता है इसका, और इसमें से आयरन, आर्सेनिक बहुत बढ़िया रिमूवल हो जाता है।
These purification plants are now supplying purified water, which have been well received by the citizens.
पहले पानी थोड़ा लाल हो जाता था, अब सिस्टम लगने से शायद ठीक है, बिल्कुल सही है पानी।
ये बहुत अच्छा, पहला पानी खराब मिलता ही, और बहुत अच्छा पानी मिलता फिल्टर लगना।
कहने कि 2 साल बाद चलेगा, तो हमेशा चलता रहना चाहिए, क्योंकि ਇਹਦਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ बहुत फायदा है, साफ पानी मिल रहा है।
It may be noted that the levels of purification achieved exceeds international norms. This nanotechnology-based water treatment plant accomplishes its work without the use of electricity and is the only plant in the world that removes iron through adsorption, leading to very less waste generation and consequently near zero maintenance.
ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਪਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਇਸਦਾ, ਇਸ ਲਈ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਲੋਕ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਇਹਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 4 ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਬਾਅਦ, ਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਲ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ, ਆਪੇ ਹਵਾ ਖੋਲ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਸਾਫ਼ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੇ ਬਸ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ, ਬੜਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਪਾਣੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਫ਼ ਸੁਥਰਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਪੀਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਸਵਾਦ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤੰਦਰੁਸਤੀ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਦੁਆ ਹੈ, बहुत बेनिफिट है। हमें पता चला है कि जो साफ पानी मिल रहा है, इसकी स्कीम 2 साल के लिए तक पानी साफ सुथरा गांव वालों को मिलता रहे, ताकि उनकी सेहत वगैरह सही रह सके।
पानी की सप्लाई ले रही है, पानी बहुत बढ़िया आ रहा है।
The cost of providing clean water is the lowest in the world at just ₹23 per 1,000 liters or $0.35 per 1,000 liters.
Okay, I hope you enjoy those 2 slides, and I'll stop my presentation now, and I will take the question if you have any. And thank you for listening.
Verma sir, thank you. I've got some questions, sir. I will share them on my screen, sir.
Sure.
This is for the participants. If more of you have questions, please type it in the chat box.
Okay.
Sir, if you can read out the question once and then answer.
Yeah, the first question is reuse of PET bottles. It is myth that there is a scientific evidence that the plastics seep into the water stored in it. Using them in a place of water bottle, warm up water, carried during water. I think this is a lie, because there is a compound, leaches, because those plastic bottle is made of the basically a artificial or plastic material is made up by the chemicals, organic chemicals, and these chemicals basically at certain temperature they leach out because their bonds breaks up and it goes to the water, which is very harmful for these. Definitely, one should not eat. As I told you in my talk also, if If you keep it in a normal temperature, it is shelf-life is only 6 months. But if you are going to the water for long, it has become heated for at least 1-2 hours is fine, but is heated for a longer period of time, it will definitely destroy these things. There is a next question. Okay, the next question is basically, can grey water pollute the water table in turn make more water impure? What do you mean by polluted nearby area? See, nearby area means if you have a 5-kilometer area, there is no industry which is making the waste into the open areas. So what happened, as the time goes on, these chemicals which are present in the pollutant, they seep into the earth and it mixes with the water molecules. And when you take them water, basically it maybe looks fine, maybe looks contaminated, but it basically it is contaminating with a lot of pollutant, and which is not good for health only. The cadmium is one of them. If there is any tannery is there in Chennai, there is a tannery is in nearby areas, and a lot of contaminated water is there, and which is has a skin problem in those things. In that one. Next, please. Can you explain how we connect calamities like Varda or tsunami to climate changes? And these are the basically changes happen during the bigger things in crust in earth basically. So you know that the earth is always moving inside. When there is a huge number of crust stars moving, there is a gap is created. The water seep into that, and then there is either the shakes comes or there is a change of waves in a sea, and which causes this change. So there is a connection between the calamities like Varda and those kind of things. Suppose if Chennai residents want to check the quality of the borewell water, is the IT? Yes, definitely. Yeah, you can come to the IT. And there are the environmental pollution labs are there. They will check your water. And nowadays portable systems are available which you can buy from the market. It costs you 1,000 rupees. You can check the pH and auto. And there are some indicators are there. Or simple pH meter, you can change it. You can see with the eyes the color. And if you want to really see your lab, very simply take a glass of water, make one kind of filter assembly in the sand, pour water from the beginning, and see when it is coming down, much cleaner water in that. Simple, that will tell you how this earth crust will purify the water in that. So for the past several years, there has been an idea of the connecting the Indian rivers. Is this scientifically good or just? See, I'm not basically a geologist who can tell about those things, but what the idea behind those connecting the rivers basically to conserve the water, which in one place is more, another place is less. If you connect the stored water, flow of the water in that way to connect each other, probably if there is no water, there is no rain, those areas can be benefited. I think scientifically it's good, but feasibility I don't know, because there is a terrains are there, up and down in the earth, so the flow of water can be stopped. If there is you are flowing from a UP to Tamil Nadu, there is a lot of hills are there. So how we can flow here? So that is a problem. So you have to make a tunnels or you make a dams, connect with the different canals. And so maybe it's not a gimmick basically. It's a very expensive proposition where the government has to think about areas. If you use a plastic bottle a much longer period of time, says 4 years, still we store water can have a bad effect. Yes, if you more than 6 months, a lot of organic molecule will leach into the water. Even you store in 4 degrees centigrade, that is not good also, because the odor of the water will change in that one. So it is not good. Any other question?
Can you see, sir? Can you see the question?
Yeah, I've answered this question. Acha, is there any other alternative for selling water other than plastic water? The bad effect. No, the good quality plastics are coming basically, where you can store for a long period of time. Or used to be, the vessels over there, old vessels basically. But you have to clean every day to do that. That is a problem. So there is no particular storage contaminant has been made, which are very good for longer period of time. A small period, yes, is fine. We live in a row of houses. Each house has a borewell, septic tanks, and the grey water. Water from washing dishes and cloth exit usually goes into the garden. Does that pollute the borewell? For a long period of use, yes, it will pollute basically. Because if you have a borewell all the time and the borewell is not recharged with the rainwater nearby, so what will happen? This water which you are doing it basically, because the soap also had a very bad contaminants in that one, alkali is there. So, and washing dish also have a lot of alkalis in that one. When it goes in the ground, it will destroy the pH of the water, and this also helps in the material. Also. Why desalination is expensive? Because what happened? You are not doing in a 1 or 2 liter of water. You are looking in a billions of gallons of water basically. So what happened? The contaminants which are present in the salt basically is very huge. So that's what the problem is, that the filters get choked, the machinery cannot perform, the electricity cannot run because of the ions are then there. So that's what desalination pumps are very expensive in this regard, because there is no technology has been developed yet where we can remove simultaneously as we go forward. Because if you have a columns, the column choke basically, so you have to open it, remove it, wash it with different kind of solvents to remove that contaminants. So the water purification is basically through desalination plant. Definitely, yes, it is, and that's where the nanotechnology has come. But nanotechnology things happen only when there is a small contaminant. There is a borderline is there. So if you have a too much contaminant, it will be difficult for them, and that's what the desalination is very. Does drinking water have expiry date? If you're talking to me in the glaciers and the lakes which are high altitude, no, there is no expiry date for that. But in a bottles water, yes, 6 month expiry date is there, because you are storing. There is no atmospheric oxygen which are coming in that one. Whatever is there, so and it's a plastic material is there, or contaminants is there. In the vessel also keep for a long time. The bacteria grows on the side, and that also contaminates these things. So yes, definitely it has expiry date. You can't drink the water keeping for a 1 month, 2 months, 3 months in a bottle, because in a plastic bottle different, in a daily use water, glasses and everything, they also have it, because we have a population of the bacteria, atmospheric bacteria can go in and they can propagate in, because water, they require water also. Is there an eco-friendly, and other question is there, are there any eco-friendly alternative for harmful cleaner and detergent that people use every day? Soil is one of them basically, but people don't use soils anymore. There are eco-friendly materials are there, because you have to make a nanoparticle from the existing material which are available naturally, then it becomes very eco-friendly basically. Otherwise, if you use these nanoparticles or any other things from the organic or inorganic molecules, definitely there are contamination problems. Yes. The next question is there, is formation of rain considered as a natural desalination? Yes, this is a very good question. The rain is basically considered natural desalination because it evaporates. Salts doesn't evaporate, only the water evaporates. So the salts goes down, remain stay there, and when the water goes down, it's a natural contamination and come to the rain, and definitely yes. Yes, this is right. The other question is there, I would like to try a silver filter technology. Do you have access to? Yes, you can go to the IITM website and then you talk to Dr. Pradeep's lab. He will help you do those things. And you can go to the chemistry department in IITM, private chemistry department. You can go to the Dr. Pradeep homepage, or you just type Dr. Pradeep, IIT Madras. You'll have his own page and you can do that. You can talk to me also, call me also. I can connect with him also in that technology.
Professor Verma, I have a question.
Please.
That is, there is this technology of water where water is derived from the atmosphere. There were some companies that were doing that. Drinking water from the atmosphere. There was one company called Akash Ganga.
Yes, yes.
Do you know what are the downsides of that? We know that the water is very poor. Does it have any side effects on the atmosphere? If, say, for instance, everybody in Chennai starts to do it.
Yeah, the reason is this, that if you collect this water, the high altitude, the contaminants will be very less. Because the bacteria and virus which goes to the plane, it's like if you collect rainwater in Chennai, they have to cross to that area. And there are a lot of, the pollens are there, the bacterial particles are there, the leaf parts are there. They all come into that. You cannot see it, but their minute quantity may come in that. So definitely yes. But if you do in a hill station, it's like go to the Shimla or near the Uttarkasi or something like that, where the higher altitude is 1,000 feet. If you collect those water from there, rainwater, probably that will not have that kind of contact.
Okay. Sir, some more questions are coming in. Let me just share that.
Sure.
Question 14, sir.
Okay, the question is that is RO purification of water more than enough or should we heat RO water? No, you don't need to heat the RO water because this technology does not require any heating in this. Okay, if you want to purify the water, heat them, boil them, and then filter it. This is the best water, no problem with that. But RO water, no. It's a reverse osmosis. Means you are cleaning first bacteria, killing the odor, cleaning the minerals, and then you are passing through those things. That's what is there. So more enough or should we? No. RO water is more than enough. You should not boil that. Okay. Another question is that it is believed that drinking water in 2030 will not be available for all. Do we have any technology for this kind of situation? I don't believe that there will not be any water, but there will be definitely less water will be there because the consumption of the water will be more and the population will explode. And so we require more water for sanitation, for washing clothes, for drinking. So definitely the available water will be less compared to what right now is there. But definitely if we can able to find the ways how to convert the seawater into the drinking water with less money or some technology, new technology has been developed. How can we harvest those technology, rainwater technology and the river linking that we are talking about. If this kind of thing, storage water capacity of the water in an area can be increased and that will help us to do that. So I don't think that drinking water will not be available, but definitely yes, we have to think about the storage and also the conversion of the hard water into the drinkable water will be much better. Yes. The next question is there is an environment which has been polluted and suddenly the level of pollution decreases. Can it increase the level of precipitation by any chance? Is the environment which has been polluted and suddenly level of pollution decreases? See, if there is a pollution happens, it is not that suddenly it will decrease. It's a very slow process of removing the pollutant at least from the atmosphere and from the earth crust. Once they go into the earth, these pollutants, they become a different kind of forms. And those forms can be very less dangerous or can be more dangerous also in that process. So this is all a chemistry. Precipitation can be increase the level of precipitation. I don't understand what you mean by precipitation by any chance. Yes, I got it. These pollutants can be precipitated in a form which may be more dangerous, may be less dangerous also in that way. So probably we have to think about, do a lot of work and find out what is the precipitated molecules nature, and then only we can think about it. How exactly does silver helps in killing bacteria? Actually, what happens? The silver molecule get oxidized. The oxidized basically produces superoxides, and these superoxides are very having a lot of energy. And then when the superoxide interact with the membrane of the bacteria, the membrane ruptures and it kills the bacteria. It's very simple kind of things, but definitely the superoxide generation by silver molecule is much higher compared to other metal, and that's what they kill the bacteria. Yes, so this is the mechanism of how they kill the bacteria by improving the silver oxides, and this oxide produces basically a oxygen molecule which has a lot of energy, and they interact with bacteria and rupture the membrane and kill it. We call it the superoxides basically. Does RO another question is that does RO purification remove all essential mineral? 90% yes. That's why the RO is not very good for health these days, because they found out that there is no mineral left. And that's why people think that only remove the odor and the bacterial population, and if there is excess of any minerals, if you develop that kind of platform, which is available instead of RO, I think that is a good way of maintaining the mineral content in the water. Go down a little bit. Okay. RO purifiers gives out more water than they provide is a no, this is not true. RO gives more water than what they provide. Is it safe for water level? Actually, RO purification, you remove a lot of water. The 1 liter, you require at least 5 liters of water. So if you add 5 liters of water, you get only 1 liter of purified RO with RO. So 4 liters will become a waste basically in that process. So we have to develop a technology where it recycle this material, this again 4 liters of water, and then you can change it. That is good. Definitely, it is safe water, but water table will be not good. Can we precipitate large quantities of water by artificial precipitation? What do you mean by that? Acha, making a rain basically. So you go to the atmosphere, you do some chemical spray, so the whatever condensation happen in atmosphere, it can be precipitated into that. Artificial rain is one example why people are doing it. China has done so many times this kind of rain during the games basically, Oceania games and other games also. Whatever, so you can clean the atmosphere by precipitating this what is available in atmosphere. But again, this has a repercussion because you are doing artificial things. A lot of air which you are precipitating, it will suck the air from the available areas, and that may create the hailstorms or maybe a kind of storms or other part also which we have to. With present exhaustion rate, approximately how long can the human race survive? I think it will survive, don't worry. We'll find the ways to survive in this situation also. So there is no question that we cannot survive. As we, the newer and newer technology is coming in a place, so why we can do that. Other than silver, is there any substitute at a cheaper rate to purify the water? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a kind of research. So now you have one thing the silver is doing is thing you can try in different areas and different minerals to substitute the cheaper environmental. Yeah, I think but if you want to do that, this is a matter of research only, and maybe in the future you find somebody which is a cheaper and better technology compared to the silver nanoparticle. Yes, maybe possible. If the seawater which contains salt is frozen, again, it is considered contains salt is frozen again, is considered pure. Seawater has a lot of other minerals also. So it's not only the salt, it's some other also things, other contaminants are also there. So it is not only the we eat as a sodium chloride, but there are other things also. So definitely you need to consider other molecules also to take out from there. Then only you can consider. So I don't think removing the salt, the water will become pure. But this is the debate actually, how much salt, how much remove, how much minerals you remove from the seawater to get a pure water in this one. If not silver, can we use the copper as a purification? The people used to copper vessel to purify in the past also. In the ancient history, the people store in copper vessel, which is very good for drinking purposes. But how long you can keep it, because the superoxide generation by the copper is much less than silver. So the bacterial population, the odor removal, is the quality of the water will not be as good as the silver. But definitely yes, copper is one of the alternative. People have done it, but may not killing all the bacterial population. And that's where the silver nanoparticle is used. Is it possible to save water by pursuing the preventive measure like vacuuming the place rather than sticking with old tactics of wiping the place and water and cloths? Save water. Yeah, vacuum pump can be used. Definitely nowadays there are machines are there which are using a very less amount of the water, and they are mopping it basically. Mops are very good. Yes, you can do that. Definitely, yes. You can save the old tactics, convert it into new things. And now there are robots are available in the US and Europe. In India also the robots are can clean the dust. If you just plug it, they will go around and they will suck this dirt basically and put on a place and you can throw them out. Yes, you can do that. Yeah, that technology is coming up. Can we make the left out water of or if you use for anyway? Yes, you can do gardening. You can do for basically washing the dishes. Yes, that water can be used. No problem. If you're able to collect that water and use it, but nowadays the ladies also want to do from the tap only. They don't want to use the old technology where you have a bucket of water and you wash the dishes. Even your maid servant will not like to do that. So yes, you can do that. If you can able to do in home, I think that is the best thing because you are 70% water is wasted. So recycle them. If you have a garden, you can use the garden. Also, you can use washing the clothes. Or you can connect with the storage area, lift it in the top, fill it up, and do the washing also. You can do that. But again, it will have a lot of minerals. So the washing of clothes may be affected by that also. Can artificial precipitation on the large scale dehydration? I think you are right. It may have a long-term repercussion during the monsoon if you do the artificial raining. Yeah, that possibility is there because you are creating atmosphere to suck all the precipitation in the ground and by putting some chemicals. So definitely that monsoon will change. Yeah, that possibility is there.
Thank you, sir. We had to keep to time, so we have closed the chat. Over to you. Mani, sir, could you unmute yourself?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much all the people who are listening. I hope.
Professor Verma, it was a wonderful talk. Very nice. As you can see, a lot of interactive questions have come. And I really thank you for this. And their talk will be put up the lecture has been recorded and it will be put up in, the link will be put up in CMI website in a few days. So those of you who are interested in passing on to others, please do so. And it was really a very, very useful talk. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Mani. Thank you all.
The next week on 10th of October, Professor Aishwarya Sirak of Chennai Mathematical Institute Computer Science will give the talk. So